not. Okay, cool. Thanks for recording that, D. So, ask yourself, what problem are you solving when you're talking to this client on the phone, right? So with the with this client specifically, I remember I was talking with her, and I was like, so, you know, what's your main goal, right? Are you trying to leave more money behind? Is it for final expenses? Kind of what's your, what do you got going on? And this is why it's really important because if you're not trying to solve a problem, you're just going there like, I'm going to sell this person more insurance. You're going to buy insurance. What's your health? Like, you got to figure out why they're even on the phone with you, right? And so once I started talking with her, I ask her questions. I ask her questions like, so hey, um, is your main concern leaving something behind? Is it final expenses? Well, I want to leave, or no, she was like, I want to keep the same amount of coverage I have right now. And I want to be able to leave something behind. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, so let me take a look. So what do you actually have right now? And so I actually started going into this, and maybe some people wouldn't agree with this. This is what I do though. Like if I can kind of attack the real root of like why we're on the phone right there, I will. So okay, so you already have coverage in place. So now I figured out, okay, she already has coverage in place. Okay, great. Um, what do you have in place already? So I'm like figuring out, okay, she's got 70K of whole life through like New York Life or something like that. And then she had another 30K through somebody else, right? So she had two plans. How much are you paying? So when I'm figuring out what they have, I want to know three things. I want to know what company it is. I want to know how much they're paying. Um, and I want to know how much death benefit it is, and what kind of plan it is. So like if it's New York Life, is it a term? Is it a whole life? Does it increase? Right. So good questions you can ask your clients. Hey, does that policy go up on you? Does the plan go up if it's a term, like a renewable term? Does the policy increase in costs, or does the benefit go down? Okay, has it gone up on you? Right? If they go, yeah, it's gone up on me last year. Boom! Now I know another way I can sell them why our product is better than theirs. Right? So you're figuring out and you're kind of digging up the dirt of like what actually they need and what their problem is. So you are the doctor and you're going to diagnose their problem. So one thing you guys are going to see while I'm going over this whole thing is like I'm coming from like I'm the professional. I know more than you. I am the one who's going to prescribe you your diagnosis and your medication. What is the solution, right? So you need to be I am the doctor in the situation, okay? So now um establishing a why um and then a plan of action. So a plan of action. So I'm figuring out, okay, you have 100,000 right now already. You want to keep 100,000. Um, but what's kind of your main concern, right? What's your main deal? Um, she's like, I'm paying 170 for this, and I want to leave this behind, but she has a term. Yeah, it was a term that was going to expire. So like, okay, cool. So we need something permanent. She wants it to not go away, right? So that's what she's telling me. Um, So okay, cool. So here's where you have to you like I said, when you're the doctor, you are guiding them. You are guiding them. It's like when you go to the doctor, right? And you get a shot, right? They're gonna go, okay, hey, it might sting a little bit, or hey, you might feel a little poke, or hey, you're gonna feel a little something. They're kind of like telling you what's gonna happen. They're telling, hey, okay, so all right, so I'm gonna rub this down, I'm gonna poke you, da da da, right? They're telling you exactly what you're gonna do. So you're gonna do the same thing. You're giving them a plan of action. Okay. And so I wrap it all up and I go, okay, so her name is Sowery. So Sowery, something like that. All right, Sowery. So from what you're telling me, it sounds like you just want to make sure to leave something behind for your daughter. Okay. You have 100,000 right now, but you have a term that's expiring. You're paying this much. This is how much benefit you want, right? Um, and side note, I will not usually ask them how much benefit they want if they don't know. But if they tell me exactly like they already have something they want that much, I'll listen to them. See, okay, let's see how I can help. And now that's another training on learning how to give them the bad news. Well, hey, you're older and unhealthier now, and you can't get that. But in this case, I didn't have to do that. But that's a whole other thing. But as the doctor, you need to learn how to have that conversation. So, but basically, what you're going to do is you're going to give them the plan of action. Okay, so you explained to me you have this, and this. Your goal is this, and this. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to now explain the process. I do this in that video on the final expense, right? Video on YouTube in depth, right? Exactly what I do. I do that exact same explanation when I'm explaining the process. When I'm telling them, hey, I'm the doctor. This is the process we're going to go through to figure out how can I diagnose you and what medication I need to give you to be able to solve your problem, right? Medication is whatever policy we need to put you in the right spot. Okay, so make sure you're coming at it with that angle. So now, how are you going to be building value? We're going to start talking about building value now. So now when you're explaining the process, I'm going to do it really quickly, but there's a video on it. All right, so you just explained and you just recapped and all the plan of action of stuff, what you're going to do. Okay, guys, so now, like I showed you, you already have a copy of my license and all my information, right? Or you have my license number, you have all my information, so you can look me up and you just know exactly who I am. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, what we're going to do, you tell them, hey, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to lead this dance, right? What we're going to do is I'm going to go over a few medical questions here with you, a couple questions on your health, 2 to 3 minutes of medical questions, 2 to 3 minutes of financial questions, and a few questions on your beneficiary. Okay. Based on that, we're going to check with our network of about 20 different A-rated carriers to figure out which one of them is going to give you the best benefits for you and your family. Okay. It's all kind of going to be based on health, on health. And it's going to be based on a few other factors. And so I'm going to have to go through these questions with you, and I'm going to figure out which is going to be the best fit for you specifically. Okay. If I can find you any discounts, if I can find you anything that I think is going to be a better fit, I'm going to recommend that to you. Okay. Now, after we go through that process, we're going to send a request to the carrier, submit an application. They're going to let us know in 2 to 3 business days if you're approved. Okay. Does that make sense? Now, I know you already have coverage, so you've done something like this before, but just so you know, when you're working with us, the state regulated options, the carriers are going to need to know a couple things, right? The first thing they're going to need to know is who you are, right? It's very regulated. So they just have to make sure it's not your neighbor or somebody else taking out insurance on you, right? So at some point, I'm going to need you to see some sort of ID if you want to snap me over a picture, or you can just read me off your license number. That would be fantastic. The second thing we're going to need, or not I'm going to need, but the insurance carrier is going to need, as long as we find a plan that makes sense for you, Salary, is we're going to need to, they're going to need to know however you want to pay for the plan. So as long as we can find something that's going to solve X, Y, and Z, like you shared with me, they're going to need to know that information. And typically 2 to 3 business days, they're going to let us know if you're approved, and then we can kind of go from there. All right. Does that sound good? All right, cool. So I explain the process. I tell them what I'm going to do. So then that way it's no weirdness. Like you're at the doctor and they just they said, hold out your arm, and you just hold out your arm. And they just start sticking you with a needle. Like that's going to freak you out, right? Like they need to tell you what's going on. They need to tell you, hey, this is why we're doing this. Hey, this is why we're going over this. So, really important with that. Then you're going to go through the suitability sheet. We know how to go through a suitability sheet, right? Go watch the trainings that I have on YouTube to go through a suitability sheet. I'm not going to do that right now. We don't have that much time. But you're going to thoroughly go over the health, and then you're going to explain options and make a recommendation. Okay. Sorry. You're going to thoroughly go over their health, and you're going to offer them a will kit. Okay. If you guys are not offering people will kits, well, guess what? You're talking about the day they're going to die and who's going to get their stuff, right? You need to be able to do this is like what I call like a value add, right? And so you're going to tell them, hey, do you have a will kit set up? This also just makes you seem more knowledgeable. It just makes you seem more professional. Even if they say, yeah, I already got it. You're like, perfect. We just make sure all our clients are set up on a will. A lot of times, I would say 80-90% of the time, they go, no, I don't have a will kit. I need to get that done, right? So you already are helping them with something for free, right? So the way I would explain is so, hey, John, do you have a will kit set up already? Do you have your living will set up? No, I don't have that set up. Okay, perfect. What I'm going to do, guys, you need to start telling your clients what you're going to do because you're helping them and you have their best interest and you're the professional, right? So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you over a copy of a free will kit. It's got a link. The instructions are going to be in the email. What it's going to be, you're going to fill it out. It's going to create the PDF for you. All you have to do is print it out, go get it notarized. It's good for 5 years. Okay, guys, completely free. You don't have to deal with any attorneys, so it's not going to cost you any money. And it's just going to be a really good way. And you already know their beneficiary. And that way, you know, your beneficiary is going to have everything set up. They know exactly what they need. If you have any questions or you need any help, John, reach out to me. And I do not mind helping you with that will kit. Okay. And then you already gave them value and you haven't even showed them prices. You haven't done anything, but they already feel like they're getting something from you. Right. So when they feel like they're getting something, they're going to be super fired up. They're going to be excited about it. Right. And so it's just going to be more value. Right. So offer the will kit every single time. I do every single time. A lot of times they love it. They're excited about it. Now, when I explain the options and make the recommendation, I have a video on how to go over that. I'm not going to go over that right now, but go watch through it, guys, how to explain the options and make a recommendation. But when I talk about picking the carrier, what I do is I give the carrier a lot of credibility. So, hey, if it's Mutual of Omaha, hey, what I love about Mutual of Omaha and what you're going to love, John, is that they were founded in 1909, right? They've been in Better Business Bureau and A for the Better Business Bureau since 1940. Okay, so they've been around a really long time. They're not going anywhere. They have a great rating. You know, you can look them up. It's just a little bit more credibility, a little bit more confidence in them making a decision whether to partner with this carrier or not and spend money with them, right? So carrier choice credibility and then clearly explaining the plan. You guys need to figure out how to explain an IUL, figure out how to explain the term, figure out how to explain a whole life. You guys should be able to do that. If you need help, we can do a full thing on how to explain all those things, but paint the picture of the living benefits as well. And so, hey, 2 out of 6 conditions for chronic illness, you know, critical illness, right? You're going to go over that as well. And then, so now getting to the closing portion. Okay. What I tell all my clients. So I say that a lot. Hey, what I tell all my clients, guys, because I do this every single day, all day long, every time. And you're a part of a community of hundreds of people that are making the same decision every single day, right? That's the mindset is, so after I write out their options, right, and I've read the benefits and they're looking at it, if they don't just like make a decision, one thing I'll tell them. So the closing question is, okay, John, based on your current situation, which one of these options, 1, 2, or 3, kind of makes the most sense for your current situation? And a lot of times they'll pick one. Sometimes they won't pick one though. Sometimes they're gonna say, oh, you know, I don't know, is it this, is it that? Maybe they're looking at it, they're kind of on the fence. So if they're on the fence, a lot of times you might not close these ones because you don't want to be weird, you don't want to be too pushy. This is a really good way that you can be not pushy, but be helpful, and it's going to get rid of sales pressure, right? Because maybe it's sales pressure that's kind of holding them back, right? So one thing that I say a lot of times is what I tell all my clients is, and what I recommend, because right, I'm making a recommendation, right? So what I tell all my clients is to start with just whatever's super comfortable, John. And once we know that you're medically approved 6 months, 12 months from now, like I said, I come with a plan. So if you ever want to make any adjustments, as long as you don't have any major medical conditions, you give me a call and we can make a change to your plan if you want to increase or decrease later on. But what I tell all my clients, John, is just start wherever's the most comfortable. So yeah, and basically I'll kind of leave it at that. Just, you know, start whatever's most comfortable. Then they feel like, okay, this guy's not just trying to sell me, right? This guy actually cares about, you know, this guy actually cares about like me and my family and doesn't want me to go broke and is not trying to just give me spend a bunch of money. And they're just going to feel like you care about them. You gave them a will kit, right? You talked about their situation in depth. You were the professional. You gave them the options. You told them about the carrier. And at this point, they're just they you should have created and painted the picture enough to where they know that they need it, and so you go from there, right? And so that's pretty much that, guys. I know we got to get going here. Desiree's about to get rocking with Momentum Monday, and so that's pretty much everything for me, guys. Had a couple other things I wanted to go over, but you know, we went a little I took a little bit on some of those things.
You can stay on. We could go to breakout room 1. So if anyone's here for Momentum Monday, just move to room 1 and you guys could get your Q&A in.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Sounds good, Des. Yeah, we're gonna go just a couple more minutes here, real quick. I just want to go a couple
Okay.
things. Yeah, I'm gonna send you.
Looking for anyone.
I'm gonna drop the will kit in here for you guys. Just give me 1 second here. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see here. Okay. It's just this website right here, guys. Um, okay. Cool, guys. All right, so I just sent over. Let's see here. Okay, so I just dropped that in the chat, guys. So for the will kit, that's the will kit. Clients love it. They really do, and they really feel like you're helping them. And it's really good. So now sending over the request, see if we can get you medically approved. Okay, yep. And so now once they pick one, this is gonna be really good. Because I feel like this is like something that we kind of miss, right? Is you need to explain what is gonna happen, right? And so when you're going through it and you're about to send over the like you're doing the app, right? I'm not going to talk about objections. I'm not going to really talk about that on this call. I want you, this is more of like a mindset of like what you should be trying to do during the appointment and how to build value to the client to get them to buy. We all kind of know the objections. We can go over an objection training, stuff like that another time. That'll be a different call, but explaining what will happen. This is basically how to pivot in the appointment, how to make it a smooth process to feel like you've done this like a million times, right? So after we're sending over the request, before we do the last signature, this is what I'm doing. I say, okay, now John, this is here's what's gonna happen, right? I've been telling him the whole time what's gonna exactly happen, right? We're just following what I'm saying this whole time. So he's following me, right? So we're gonna explain what's gonna happen here. Okay, so one of three things is gonna happen, John. The first thing is that you're gonna get approved right away. Fingers crossed, you get approved today, right away. You're gonna be covered, right? The second thing that's going to happen, John, is that's going to go to underwriting. So what that means is that the request is going to go over to an underwriter over at Mutual of Omaha, and they're going to directly look at it over there. Okay. The third thing that's going to happen, and then when I say that too, I say it's super common, happens all the time. It's not a big deal. It's going to go to underwriting, not a big deal. Okay. Happens all the time. They just probably got to check a couple things, right? Super common. Third thing that might happen, John, is they might just say, hey, John, at this time, you're going to be ineligible for the coverage, right? So ineligible for the coverage, right? I don't say, hey, you're declined, you suck. No, like you might just be ineligible at this time for the coverage, right? So then you're basically teeing it up like, hey, I'm already telling you what could possibly happen right now. Hopefully it gets approved. Maybe it goes to underwriting, but if it does get ineligible, I tell them this. I say, but if that does happen, worst case scenario, John, like I said, I work with so many different carriers. I have a ton of different type of products and plans, and I think you're still going to be able to fit your needs. And so we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there if we need to. But I'm going to look around and I'm going to find you the next best thing. Okay, does that sound fair? Sounds fair. Cool. Now, if they get declined, I'm not really worried. I already told them, hey, we're going to go shop around. We're going to keep looking around. Like we're going to find something for you, right? And so I think that's really big when you're going to pivot, letting them know, teeing it up. Hey, here's three things that are going to happen. This approved into underwriting or declined, but don't worry. I work with all these different carriers. I'm going to find you the next best thing, right? So that's that. And then the other thing is going to be when sending the signature to review, telling them to make sure things are right. I just make sure, like their beneficiaries are spelled correctly. It's like the big main one. It just, you take that little bit of extra time while they're signing off on it just to go, hey, take a look at the beneficiary. Just make sure everything's spelled right. I mean, legal, because it's like, if you're a professional, like, hey, legally, this has to actually be right for this to actually pay out. And because I care about you and your family, let's take it just a second to just confirm that these look correct, right? It just gives you that little, you already made the sale at this point, but it's like at that point, like you're just kind of like showing your professionalism in the actual appointment, right? So that's that. And then the last thing here is going to be send a summary after the appointment. So sending a summary, it's like sending him a receipt. Hey, this is your carrier. hey, this is how much benefit. Hey, this is the effective date. Hey, here's your policy number if we have one. Hey, here's your beneficiaries and the splits on it. And just telling him that. And then planting the seed for the referral from there. Hey, super happy we get you approved today. Do you know anybody else that needs this type of coverage, that needs something like this, or that maybe has something, they have any questions that I could help them with? You do, awesome. You don't, cool, right? So that's pretty much everything, guys. We went a little bit over, but I wanted to go over that with you guys. So, but everything. If you got last thing, I guess, do you guys have any questions? Last
I
couple
do.
minutes. Go ahead.
This is Taylor. When you were talking about the credibility, so what do you do when you're not even in the appointment, but when you're booking the appointment and people are like, I don't give any information over the phone? Because I'm talking about leads that aren't in the state, I guess, when I'm asking this question. Like when people are like, well, I don't know who you are. Like, what do you do at the very beginning? Like first point of contact.
Yeah, I tell them, yeah, hey, my name is Tyler. I'm licensed directly in the state of like I work a lot of Massachusetts leads. Like the lady I closed was in Massachusetts. I say, hey, I'm look, hi, I say, hi, my name's Tyler. Looks like we got your request. It was looking into the whatever it is for you, final expense or mortgage protection, whatever the script is for that for mortgage. For final expense, I can tell you what I say. Hey, this is giving you a call here in regards to the request we had received from you. Is looking at the state regulated final expense programs here in Massachusetts, or I'll say their county name. That way it seems a little bit more familiar. And so it's that little bit of familiarity. And then if they say something like that, well, like, I don't know you, who are you? Da, da, da. Hey, I'm a medical underwriter. I'm licensed with the state. We got your request. My job is just to go over the information you filled out. Looks like you put your date of birth as blank. The first thing I'm trying to do is get them their information that I have before they can give me a rebuttal. So that's kind of the name of the game, because I know something that you don't, because I have your information, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else have any questions? Okay,
I have a quick question.
go ahead.
And I don't know if this is like appropriate call for this because we're not really talking about recruiting. So maybe should I ask that at another time as far as like recruiting people for the Medicare side of things, or is
No,
this
go
an
ahead.
okay call?
Go ahead.
Okay. So if you're like making someone aware about Medicare sales and saying, hey, we're starting to do this, and just briefly how it kind of works is, if you switch somebody over or start them on their plan, you'll make this, but then you get a renewal. And if they want to get more information or learn more about that, like what are you sending them, or what are you know what I mean? Like what are you connecting them into to learn more about that?
Yeah, so there's a Medicare call every Tuesday at 8 a.m. on the FFL Health Facebook. That is somewhere you can go. Honestly, the only reason I know the commissions exactly is because when I was doing I got my commission structure from Aetna when I did my contract, and it was in that structure. So I would say, like, for me, it's like I didn't have to see exactly everything to kind of know exactly what it was. I would just be explaining, kind of like I said, there you go, D. Thanks for that. I'd be saying, hey, it's $300 for a Medicare Advantage plan for a renewal per year, right? If they're enrolling into Medicare for the first time, or a Medicare Advantage plan for the first time, they're like turning 65, it's like $600. It's a little bit over that, but just say $600, right? High renewals, no chargebacks, $0 enrollments. I would just say it's a great way to just help the clients that we're already helping. It's just another way we can add value to the clients. It's just another source of income, stream of income we can create as agents using our license. And I just think that, it's going to be, it's just a no brainer. It's literally a no brainer, guys. We're all going to make like if I would have been doing this from the beginning, like I wish somebody had me on a call like this that had the contracts to do it. Like I've been trying to get the contracts. I know Diego been trying to get the contracts for the past like year and a half, and we finally were able to get them. So, yeah. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I do have an appointment I need to get going to. I have an email that's going to go out to everybody on here. It's the all the information from last week, and then we're gonna have a little email for this week, a little bit more in detail, like broken down for you guys, so you guys can like have a copy of that. And so just be looking out for that, guys. That'll probably come at some point today or tomorrow. We'll get that all squared away. But yeah, guys, so that's pretty much everything. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for staying a little bit longer. Like I said, I'm not really promoting the builder's call. If you guys want to get on it, you can. I wouldn't. I would just get on the phone and dial. So yeah, we'll go from there, guys. So I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you, T.
Yep.
Thanks, Ty.
No problem.